Welcome once again to SCLC Today. From the Southern Christian Leadership Conference International offices in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia's historic Civil Rights District on Auburn Avenue, we are pleased to introduce SCLC President and CEO, Dr. Charles Steele Jr.
Hello. So happy to have you back with us. We want to talk about briefly today, not going to keep you long, but got some good information. First of all, we are still on the battlefield with Sherwin-Williams. We made some progress, but this is to New Selma, Alabama, up south in Cleveland, Ohio. And repetition is the mother of skill. We're going to keep saying it. Cleveland, Ohio is going to be the battleground in terms of economic justice. We must have parity in being fair and equitably in terms of African American people of color getting the contracts. We are not at the table. We must get at the table. I just got in from Cleveland, been to Cleveland now more times than I can count. And we are so happy with the community rallying behind us as well. Speaking of Cleveland, we also, at the same time with Sherwin-Williams project, we had to get out the vote there with none other than Reverend Dr. E.T. Cavanagh, our local president. Such an outstanding gentleman, doing a great job. And Dr. Cavanagh has led the way in terms of Sherwin-Williams in working with the national office of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. And we want you to know, in getting out the vote, which we don't endorse, nothing other than getting out the vote. People died for the price to vote. People died and was lynched, castrated, misrepresented, treated inhumanely to get out the vote. We were there. We got the campaign going, and we don't endorse, but congratulations to none other than the newly elected mayor in the person of a young man who's 34 years of age, Justin Gill. Justin Gill, 34 years of age, finished law school, a business person, worked with the transportation department, sold on being God's instrument to do what's right in politics. I've met him, I work with him, have a relationship. He's going to do great things. We're also going to have a summit in Cleveland, Ohio, November the 15th. We're going to have an economic summit that's basically bringing about the experts in a workshop, working session to let people know what we are up against in terms of discriminatory practices in economic development. We're not at the table, ladies and gentlemen. We are not at the table. And it's because of the transatlantic African slave trade that we were forced through migration here in America for free labor. America is the richest country in the world. But guess what? I would be rich too if I didn't pay the wages, if I didn't treat people humanely, let them work for me for nothing. So America, you must recognize you got to be fair. We must have equitability in terms of Sherwin-Williams. This is the start. And we're going to get out the vote throughout America. We're going to also deal with economic development, and we're going to have our campaign from the streets to the suites. Also, before we close, we want to bring attention to South Georgia, Brunswick, Glenn County, in dealing with none other than Mr. Ahmaud Arbery trial. Ladies and gentlemen, out of 12 jurors, 11 of them are white. Only one African American. Only one African American out of the 12. Something is wrong with that. You have 4 alternates, and we are not absolutely sure about the breakdown racially with the alternates. But it is not fair in the perception of seeing things. What's taking place in Glenn County, South Georgia, Brunswick. We must let the world know that we're looking for equitability, not only in economics, but in the judicial system. We're going to watch this very closely. We're going to have a summit down in Brunswick in terms of the equitability of people being treated fairly through the judicial system. But I want to inform you, it's not looking good. We'll get back with this particular problem and issue on next week. In closing, speaking about next week, don't miss next week when we're going to talk about the critical race theory in terms of the conversation that's taking place all over the country. We must understand what this is all about. Just looking from the surface part of it, you got to get into the in-depthness of what's taking place. Do you know what it is? Tune in next week. You'll be surprised. Have a great day and a great week. This has been the SCLC Today Show.
Your membership with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference will help promote the initiatives, programs, and activism of the SCLC. Visit our website to see what we've been doing and join online at nationalsclc.org. Thank you for joining us for today's program.